Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving early. I'll probably release this video early so I don't have to worry about uploading my video on Thanksgiving. And as always, obligatory self promotion. What if I ruled the world? Poems inspired by music written by me, your boy. Always linked in the description, always linked in the link tree. Great Christmas gift. Hey, if you have no other ideas, yeah, now give the gift of great poetry. So now let's get into this video. Happy Hip Hop History Month. I talked about it in my short videos. This month is Hip Hop History Month. So I'm going to read When the Beat Was Born, DJ Kool Herc and the Creation of Hip Hop by Laban Kerwick Hill. I hope I said his name right. Illustrated by Theodore Taylor III. This is the cover. And I really love the artwork in this book. So I'm going to give you info on the book, and then I'm going to review it and show you some stuff. Oh, and I'm going to give an author biography. So here we go. It's a biography slash a music genre book. I already said the authors and the illustrator, and the author biography is Laban Hill, the father, author, performer, friend, the teacher, brother, colleague, the son, neighbor, citizen, poet in person. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2021, February 2021, in Winooski, Vermont, at the age of 60. So that was sad when I went to go look him up. He is remembered dearly by his family, his daughters, Natalie and Ella, his ex-wife, Elise Whitmore, his sister, Susan Paffu, and his mother, Kay Colbley. He was first and foremost a storyteller. So here's the story about Laban. I got this from a website. He grew up in Memphis, Tennessee in the 1960s. After growing up, Laban moved to New York and enrolled at NYU, where he connected to the St. Mark's poetry program and began his lifelong love of poetry. On the next day, he pursued his education at Baruch College and later Columbia University, where he earned an MFA in poetry. In the early 90s, he worked as a sales assistant at the New Yorker, where he met his now ex-wife. He entered publishing and worked in several houses, including Scholastic. And he was intrigued by the Choose Your Own Adventure series. He phoned the editor to propose writing one, only to find out they did not hire authors who lived in New York. As if it were an adventure to be replotted, Laban and Elise had their first daughter, Natalie, in Brooklyn, and shortly thereafter they moved to Vermont. He returned to the editor with his new Vermont bona fides and was hired for many books in the Choose Your Own Adventure series. After his second daughter, Ella, was born, Laban, I hope I said his name right, Laban created his own series, the Extreme Sports series, in which both Natalie and Ella were featured as characters. Oh, that's cute. In Vermont, he wrote over 30 books, including the National Book Award finalist for Harlem Stomp. The Cold Dead honor I cannot speak. The Cold Decot honor awardee David the Potter, American Dreaming, and When the Beat Was Born. So that's a little bit about him because there was a lot. And I was like, I don't want to read the whole thing. But this book was released August 27, 2013, and the synopsis is before there was hip hop, there was DJ Kool Herc. On a hot day at the end of the summer in 1973, Cindy Campbell threw a back to school party at the park in the South Bronx. Her brother Clyde Campbell, which is DJ Kool Herc's real name, spun the records. He had a new way of playing the music to make the breaks, the musical interludes between verses, longer for dancing. He called himself DJ Kool Herc, and this is when the beat was born. From his childhood in Jamaica to his youth in the Bronx, uh, Laban Carrick Hill's book tells Kool Herc tells how Kool Herc became a DJ, how kids and gangs stopped fighting in order to break dance, and how the music he invented went to define a culture and transform the world. So yeah, so that's a little bit about the book, and I'm just gonna go into my pros and my cons and my overall opinion. So my pro is the story. I really love how they told the story. It's very easy to read. I mean, it's a kid's book, but I feel like I said this in my short video. I feel like even adults, it would be nice, for them to read it as well to get, a little history of, the beginning of hip hop. And so I felt like it was very streamlined. It talked about his life in Jamaica, then it goes to his life in the Bronx, and then how he was a DJ. Trying to think, did we go? How far did we get into his life? Let me look real quick. Um, okay, we got into like later years with other DJs that he influenced. So yeah, we got into some years later, and then when he had a group that he also he would DJ for them, they would rap and stuff, and then talks about the DJs that he influenced at the end of the book. Um, and then it has him as an older man at the end. Let me show that. Which I did look him up. That's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate picture. Um, and let's talk about that. I love the artwork in the book. One of my favorite pictures is, hold on, put the little sticky note in there so I would remember, of course. Oh, this one, I love this picture. It's like the city and it's all these records make up the buildings. That was really cool. And there's like speakers in there. If I can do it too high. Yeah, there's some records and then there's speakers. I feel like that was such a cool picture. A little glare because of my ring light, but yeah, I think the artwork is really good and there's people dancing. Yeah, I feel like it's very vivid and cool. And this is him with his speakers that his dad had got him. And you can see the record in the middle. And I really loved learning about like how he did his like DJing, and before you would only do one record, but then he put two so that he could flip the same record over, and he could make it longer and have the break dancers dance during the break, which makes sense. And yeah, I really love the story. And then in the back of the book, they have the timeline of hip hop, and then they have a bibliography for like everything. Um, I'm guessing that what they use to write the book, and they have books, they have film and DVDs you can look at. You have websites you can go to research more. I really love that. And then you can do your own further research. So, yeah. And this is a quick read. I mean, it is a kid's book. It's only like 32 pages, so it's not bad. And I got this from one of those free library, um, those free libraries where you take one. You're supposed to put one in and take one out. I'm always taking. I don't think I've ever put one in, because I love books. So it is what it is. I don't have any cons. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. It's a good book. Yeah. I usually don't really have, unless there's like a kid's book that's like just like, why would you read this to kids? Unless it's just something just so inappropriate or weird. I don't really ever have anything negative to say about children's books for the most part. Now, I'm not saying there can't be a bad children's book, because I'm sure there is one, but I just usually don't have like a bunch of like negative stuff to say about a kid's book personally. But anyway, here's my overall opinion. I love learning about DJ Cool Herc. Since it's Hip Hop History Month, I figured I would finally read this book after having it for a while, because I definitely have had it for a while. It's very informative and entertaining. It's great for children since it's made for them, but it's great for adults too. Oh, and I talked about the bibliography. I talked about the artwork is very good. I love learning about the beginning of DJing and hip hop, and I would definitely recommend this book for kids and adults, which I feel like I've mentioned several times. And I would give it a 10 out of 10. I don't really think there's anything extra they need to do, and then they give you the bibliography so you can go and you can look at more if you want, which I definitely will, because that's very resourceful. So yeah, so that's the book pretty much. Um, but I do have a rant. and it's about hip hop in general, and it's called Hip Hop's Influence. And I think it's great that hip hop does get its own month, and I think that it's very influential. But I do feel like it gets disrespected a lot, which I feel like it does, especially from people outside of Black culture. Um, it's not to say every rap song is a masterpiece, in my opinion, but some people dismiss it as a whole. So I feel like like a lot of critics and like people who maybe don't like rap kind of dismiss it as a whole, which I'm like, I don't think you have to love rap or like it at all, but to dismiss it as an art form as a whole, I feel like does it injustice. Like, um, I'm trying to think, is there anything I don't like? 'Cause surprisingly, I do like rock. I like screamo. Like I like what's that one guy? Corpse Husband. I'm trying to think of something I don't like. There's some country songs that are a little too twangy for me, but I do like country. But at the same time, I understand there are people who love it, and I don't want to disrespect the genre. So that's why I think that people should get for hip hop, um, and especially in music genres like K-pop and J-pop. Yeah, you can clearly see the hip hop influences constantly in their music and style. But their fans and them sometimes want to discredit hip hop and be like, oh, you know, K-pop and J-pop are their own things. When clearly we can definitely see with our own eyes the influence that hip hop has had on these genres. And speaking of that, I know it's technically an R&B song, but I think JMSN just um, sampled a very popular R&B song. So hip hop, R&B, goes together because it's from the black people. So there's that. Um, oh, and even other black artists from like outside of the U.S., like Burner Boy, who's an Afrobeats artist, has something negative to say about Black Americans. Um, talking about we don't know, they have no ties to that we don't have no ties to our roots, but he forgets the big elephant in the room: slavery. We don't know about our past because it was erased. So it's like, and we definitely have culture. Just because we don't know necessarily where we came from in Africa, which is unfortunate. And even to figure that out, it can be expensive. It can be like over $100 to get your DNA tested and do all that stuff. And then you still have to do the work of researching your background and getting into all that stuff. So then it's like a lot of barriers for that. So I don't think it's not that simple because like we don't want to know, like we would want to know, but then you got to pay for the test, and then you got to worry about what are they doing with my DNA. You know what I mean? It's like I would like to know, but I would like to know in a place. I would like to look up a company where I don't want to have to worry about like what are they doing with my DNA when they're done with it. And a lot of black people have a lot of mistrust of medical organizations for good reason. Um, and yet he still samples a lot of black artists. Like for example, he sampled Brandy's "Sitting on Top of the World," and he's wearing Tim's in his videos. LOL, which are not, which are very American. I'll say that. So yeah, you're still influenced by hip hop nonetheless, even though you're acting crazy towards our people. Which I feel like I said in my short video, I feel like us of the different diasporas. I hope I said that right. We need to come together. We need to stop fighting because that's not what we need to do. Which I said in my short video. There's a whole other video, but I'm just gonna go into it a little bit. We do have our differences, but it should not tear us apart. It should bring us together. And like, if Americans don't know where their ancestry came from, it should be an understanding that hey, yeah, they got shipped around the world to a place they weren't born at. So I mean, you know, unfortunately, it is what it is. We don't always know where we come from, and I don't feel like it should be a point against us. I feel like it should be like, okay, an understanding. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry about that. All right. Anyway, I think hip hop gets its influence taken, then it gets dismissed uh, as the worst music genre, and I feel like it's not. I'm glad it has its own month, but I think it needs more appreciation overall. I feel like, you know, hip hop gets this connotation of being negative, which it could be, but I feel like there are also other genres that can be negative. There's metal called death metal. Hey, what do you think they're talking about? You talking about hip hop is like so negative, but it's like there's nuance to everything. There's genres within genres. There's many genres, you know. I did a video about hyperpop last week, so that's under pop, and then there's stuff under hyperpop. So it's like, it's not all bad, but yeah, I just feel like hip hop deserves more. You know what I mean? And not just looked at as like a negative thing. And there's nuance. Excuse me, there is negativity, but there's also positive stuff. But if you're only wanting to see the negative, then I feel like that's all you're gonna see. But yeah, this is the book When the Beat Was Born, DJ Kool Herc, the creation of hip hop. Do you like hip hop? Do you not like hip hop? Do you not like rap? Do you like R&B? Do you like pop? Do you like rock? Do you like country? Whatever you like. Let me know what you like in the comments. Will you go and get this book? I don't know where I'm sure you can get it at all kinds of places. I mean, I got it for free, so I can't really say, "Oh, I got it from such and such." But yeah, let me know what you think. Will you read the book? Will you not? And I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I'm very excited to eat, as always. And I will see you all next week.